Hibo, people of Mzansi, welcome back to the channel. If you thought the drama in Inimba couldn't get any hotter, then you are not ready for the firestorm coming this November. From custody battles that tear families apart to shocking summits that threaten to bring empires crashing down, this month will leave you breathless. So, make sure you're subscribed and have that notification bell on, because you won't want to miss a single update. And if you're enjoying our recaps, showing some love with a super thanks donation, or simply letting the ads play, helps us keep bringing you this content. Now, let's dive into the chaos. On Monday, the 3rd of November, the dust from past battles was far from settled. Zuleika and Lazarus were desperately trying to maintain a sense of calm, but Hlati's simmering temper was pushing Tumeka to her absolute limit. Meanwhile, Tawe found herself torn, standing at a painful crossroads between her family loyalties and her burning ambition at Kusala. Every move felt dangerous, threatening to reopen old scars that nobody was ready to confront, setting a tense and uneasy mood in every household. The tension escalated on Tuesday the 4th, when a firm, unexpected knock at Zuleika's door changed everything. It was a summons, pulling her into a legal battle she thought she could avoid. As Lazarus immediately shifted into war mode, preparing their defense, over at Kusala, Onga drew a harsh and unforgiving line with Tawe, making it clear that office politics were not for the faint-hearted. Secrets were bubbling to the surface, and it was becoming clear that someone was running out of places to hide from the looming consequences. By Wednesday the 5th, control was slipping right through Hlati's fingers as Tumeka, fed up with his behavior, finally found the strength to push back. Zuleika and Lazarus took a bold, unified stand to protect their newfound family and hard-won peace, but at Kusala, Tawe's fierce determination to prove herself sparked a different kind of storm, one that she quickly realized she might not be able to contain on her own, signaling a point of no return for everyone involved. The lines between love and loyalty became dangerously blurred for Tumeka and Hlati on Thursday the 6th. Zuleika's resolve was tested like never before when a ghost from her past arrived at her door, bringing with it a flood of complicated memories. At Kusala, ambition transformed into the most dangerous game of all, with every player making calculated moves to secure their power, leaving no room for error or mercy in the high-stakes corporate environment. As the week closed on Friday the 7th, Zuleika absolutely refused to bend under the immense pressure, even as Hlati resorted to playing dirty in their ongoing war. Lazarus was forced to confront a painful truth about his own past that he could no longer escape. Tawe faced a crushing humiliation at the office, which forced her to make an agonizing choice between her personal pride and her professional power, a decision that would redefine her path forward. The new week began on Monday the 10th, with pressure mounting to a breaking point. Hlati crossed a line so severe that even a patient Tumeka could no longer ignore his destructive behavior. Zuleika stepped up to take charge when family loyalty was put to the ultimate test, making tough decisions to protect her own. Meanwhile at Kusala, the professional sparks flying between Tawe and Onga threatened to ignite a much bigger, more personal fire between them. On Tuesday the 11th, Zuleika and Lazarus made a bold power move that completely shook Hlati's world, leaving him reeling and isolated. Explosive tensions erupted within the Mabandla household as old, painful wounds were ripped open for everyone to see. In a deeply cutting moment, Onga's harsh words left Tawe sitting at her desk, seriously questioning her own worth and her true place in the ruthless corporate world of Kusala. A shocking revelation came to light on Wednesday the 12th, as the truth about what Hlati did in his past finally surfaced, and it was far uglier than anyone could have ever imagined. Nontaba's discovery threatened to destroy everything he had spent his life building, from his reputation to his family. In the midst of this chaos, a lost Inimba turned towards Zuleyka and Lazarus, desperately searching for the stable, caring family he had never had. The custody battle turned utterly vicious on Thursday the 13th, but Zuleyka refused to be silenced, fighting back with everything she had. Lazarus fought fiercely to protect what was his, but the emotional cost of the war was becoming higher than he had ever anticipated. At Kusala, Tawe proved to everyone, especially to Onga, that she was not someone to be underestimated, showcasing a sharpness and resilience that commanded respect. By Friday the 14th, Plati's war had reached its absolute breaking point, yet Zuleyka stood firm, refusing to back down or show any sign of weakness. Inimba finally spoke his truth, calling out his parents for the immense damage they had caused the entire family. Pushed to her absolute limit by Onga's continuous cruel taunts, Tawe finally decided she had taken enough and was ready to stand up for herself once and for all. And just like that, folks, we have to pause right at the edge of another cliffhanger. The drama in Inimba truly never stops. If you're living for these details, please help the channel grow by sharing this video with your friends and family. And don't forget to hit that like button. Your support through channel memberships or super thanks donation makes a huge difference. Stay tuned, because next time, the African Global Innovation Summit will turn everything upside down. Until then, sharp sharp. On Monday the 17th, Zuleyka and Lazarus stepped into the spotlight at the prestigious African Global Innovation Summit, celebrating a huge professional triumph. But as the applause rang out, a storm was already brewing in the shadows. Not everyone in the audience was clapping for their success, with dangerous rivals lurking and plotting to tear them down from their moment of glory, turning their victory into a potential trap. The very next day, Tuesday the 18th, a devastating revelation at the summit rocked the entire conference room. Lazarus and Zuleyka were sent scrambling, working desperately to contain the explosive fallout as their so-called allies began to shift in the shadows. The situation grew even more treacherous when it became clear that Lillian's new partnership with Sydney could ultimately cost her much more than she was ever willing to pay. By Wednesday the 19th, the dust from the summit had settled, but the damage left behind ran deep and personal. Zuleyka faced a wave of public humiliation that threatened to tarnish her hard-earned reputation, while Lazarus fought tirelessly to regain control of the narrative. Watching all this unfold, Tawe was left questioning whether her loyalty to the family was truly worth all the relentless pain and public scandal. The pressure finally began to crack their united front on Thursday the 20th, as the unity between Lazarus and Zuleyka showed its first signs of strain. Meanwhile, Plati's anger spiraled into something truly dangerous and unpredictable. In a moment of high emotion, a single wrong word was spoken between hearts, and that one mistake changed the course of everything, for everyone involved. A heated confrontation on Friday the 21st pushed a desperate Plati to do the unthinkable, shocking everyone who witnessed his drastic actions. Zuleyka and Lazarus were completely blindsided by a bitter betrayal from someone they had trusted. In the midst of the chaos, Tawe's secret crush on Onga finally came to light, but not in the romantic way she had always hoped, leaving her utterly embarrassed and heartbroken. Sheer panic gripped both families on Monday the 24th, when a baby suddenly couldn't be found. Lazarus and Zuleyka were forced to confront their very worst fears head-on as the search began. But in all the chaos and confusion, Plati's next move proved, once and for all, that he had absolutely nothing left to lose, making him more unpredictable and dangerous than ever before. On Tuesday the 25th, a furious Zuleyka vowed that Plati would finally answer for all his sins, determined to see justice served. But even when cornered by the law, he refused to surrender quietly, putting up a fierce fight. When the police cuffs finally clicked shut, there was no peace to be found, only more painful cracks appearing in the family's already fragile foundation. Zuleka and Lazarus tried to celebrate a legal victory on Wednesday the 26th, but the win felt hollow and empty given all they had lost. Complicating matters, Lillian's old feelings for Lazarus resurfaced at the worst possible time, threatening their professional dynamic. Tarway's attempt to find love with Onga ended in a very public heartbreak, leaving her utterly devastated and alone. With Lati absent on Thursday the 27th, Tumeka was left feeling lost, tangled between guilt and a sense of relief. Lazarus and Zuleka tried their best to move forward and find a new normal, but the peace felt fragile and temporary. This delicate balance was threatened when a secret discovery was made, one that threatened to reopen old wounds and shatter their temporary truce. The week ended on Friday the 28th, with Lati's return home, but it wasn't the happy reunion anyone had imagined or hoped for. Lillian, feeling insecure, crossed a major line that could shatter everything Zuleka had worked so hard to build. In a confusing turn, Onga tried to draw strict professional boundaries with Tarway, but the look in his eyes told a completely different, more complicated story. And just like that, folks, we have to pause right at the edge of another cliffhanger. The drama Inimba truly never stops. If you're living for these details, please help the channel grow by sharing this video with your friends and family, and don't forget to hit that like button. Your support through channel memberships or super thanks donation makes a huge difference. Stay tuned, because next time, the African Global Innovation Summit will turn everything upside down. Until then, sharp, sharp.